All right. Could be a stressful time, guys, on the Great White Way. Talking about a possible double strike on Broadway coming up this fall. There are two separate unions whose contracts have expired. One is for the actors and the stage managers, and the other is for the musicians. Can't put on a show without those, right? Big sticking point is better healthcare coverage. And higher contributions by producers to pay towards those costs for the actors, as well as better wages for the musicians. Joining us now is our Broadway reporter, Leigh Scheps, to break down what this all means, how it could impact people who want to go see a show. Leigh?
Well, the number one thing that people keep asking me is, what should I do with my tickets? Should I go and keep my tickets? Should I exchange my tickets? Should I continue buying tickets? The answer is yes. There has not been an announcement on if there will be a strike or when there will be a strike. So I will say, continue to do what you're doing. As of this morning, 31 members of Congress have signed a bipartisan letter to send it in support of both unions, urging not to have a strike. Because think about it, in the pandemic, we had a Broadway shutdown for a year and a half, and that would be detrimental to the Broadway industry and the entire economy. And here's what they said in part of a statement in this letter: a disruption to Broadway will result in significant economic disruption to not just the New York metropolitan area, but harm theater workers and patrons across the country and around the world.
Yeah. But Leigh, what's the main reason for the musicians wanting to strike? The healthcare?
Well, healthcare, yes, and they want higher wages, noting that last year Broadway had its highest grossing record in history. You know, as the saying goes, the show must go on, but you cannot go on for these artists if they're not able to do their work. And in a statement, here's what the musicians union said: audiences deserve the magic of live Broadway, but the artists that make the magic happen must be paid fairly and must not have their jobs and benefits taken away from them.
I see humane scheduling on there. I mean, Broadway is a grind for the actors and for everybody else, everybody behind the scenes and the musicians.
They're doing 8 shows a week. Think about it. In terms of the actors, they're not just rolling out of bed and going to work like maybe most of America. You know, sometimes we roll out of bed if we're working from home too. They are putting in 300% of energy. And we have a graphic of what these actors are looking for, and I want to see if we can pull that up. They are looking for safe staffing, humane scheduling, better paid time off, sustainable working conditions, having producers paying fair share of benefits. These are things that everybody in America wants. They want better pay and better health care.
Yeah, the grind is physically very demanding for so many of these shows. You got to stay. It's not just appearing at the theater. It's what they have to do when they're not at the theater performing, staying in shape and taking care of their bodies. What's the timing on this, Leigh, in terms of when there could be a walkout, if there is one?
Well, the musician union is currently still in negotiations with the Broadway League, and that is the organization that represents the theater owners and the producers. So they will continue their discussions next week. But if you don't work as a musician, you don't get paid. And in terms of the Actors Equity Association, I sent them an email yesterday asking for updated information, and a rep responded to me that they have not yet set a date for when a strike would occur, if there is a strike. The last time there was an actor strike was in the 1960s. And in terms of the last strike on Broadway, well, that was in 2017. It was a stagehand strike, and that lasted 19 days.
Yeah, I remember that time as well. I mean, everybody's needed. It takes the whole village to make this happen.
Well, Broadway just bounced back from the COVID-19 shutdown. And the last thing anybody wants, the Broadway League and any union and anyone in New York City and around the country does not need Broadway to shut down again, because to work to build that up again with all those lost ticket sales, with all that lost work, would be a huge detriment to the economy.
People have been doing.
All right. So Leigh, for anybody out there watching who wants to support the actors and musicians, is there a place they can go?
Oh, thank you so much, Allison. Yes, so far 8,000 people have pledged their support. There is a place you can go on Instagram, Equity United Official, and if you want to show your support too, you can go there, find a letter, and send and sign your name, and that will go to the Broadway League in support. So anybody can do that.
And again, if people have tickets they're holding on to and it happens to coincide with the strike, do they get their money back? Do we know?
I assume so, yes, because if a show is canceled on Broadway for whatever reason, that's been the policy. They've been able to get their money back through the payment of which they bought the ticket, and then you can exchange it for another day.
you're just hoping that doesn't happen.
No, because I have a lot of tickets coming up.
Yeah, Leigh Scheps, thanks for being
Thanks
here.
so
Thank you.
much.
Appreciate it.